Yeah, again, I'm Sarath. Recently, I got an opportunity to work on front-end project, so I got a contact list as another project. So let's see the code. Let's see the folder structure first, and code part and the output of the code. So here is the folder structure. So in contact list application, I created one build folder and node modules folder and public folder and source folder and package log.json folder and package.json folder and readme file. In obviously it's a build. It is automatically created when we create a React application, and node modules. Here is the node modules we installed by commands in the terminal, and in public file it is also an auto-generated code. It is in a public. It is an index file over here, and a source, and it is the heart of our application. In source we have another two sub folders and components and Redux folders, and then we have a package slash log .json file and package .json file. So uh, in source folder we have, as I said that in the beginning, we have two subfolders, components and Redux, and we have some files, app.css and app.js and index.js. So here's the uh, main folder, which means it just rendering the app component. In that app component, we coded what are the requirements to our application, to our contact list application. So let's first see the app.js file, so and then the remindings. So first we imported all the requirement libraries and methods and styles and some frameworks also. First we created some imported some use effect method, and toast container. It is a React free open source framework, Toastify, to notify the user what was happening in our application. And we have imported routes, and we imported some style, and we created all the required components via uh, these from the source, and we created an app as a functional based component, and then we integrated the Redux with using this, and use dispatch, and then we created to use effect. In that use effect, we just created an API call. So it is one of the requirement for the application. So we have to render the details from this API. So we just connected to this API, all this part of code, all this piece of code. It first catches. First it catches, is there any error? If not, then it will. If no error, it catches the API, and if not, it throws an error, right? And if there is any API failed, so uh, that means the API connection is failed, then it will shows this line, and if not, then it continues and it fetches all the details from that API, and it displays, it stores somewhere, right, in this fetch data, and we just use it that fetch data. I mean, we just invoke it and we dispatch it, right? And in return, we just call this toast component, toast container component, and navbar component and routes. In that routes, we just created an home component, and we are just calling that home component and add component and edit component. We just created all these routes, and finally we just exported the app component. We used this component further in these folders. So here in index file, we just imported the app, and we just simply calling that component. And these are the importing things, required importing things, libraries and frameworks and many things. And we just simply called an app component here. And in styling, I just used a Bootstrap as a main styling effect, and then I just created some sort of changes in that Bootstrap framework also. So I just created all the styles. First, I just maximize the content and normalizing the content. That means everything making zero, making a perfect box for our application. And I created some body effects and number effects and about heading effects and buttons. These are the piece of all styling part. Without Bootstrap, the file for these lines of code might be in thousands. So I just used Bootstrap as a main, and then I created some sort of styling from my end. And in home.js file, in this JS file, we just imported all the requirement libraries and styles, and we just created a home component by using this arrow function, and we just created the home component here, and uh, we just call what are the things we want. So I just created an add contact in that, and then I created one table. In that table, it shows some sort of columns, serial number, name, email, number, action, what to do, whether I want to delete or I want to edit or I want to call. Those actions will go under this, and I just created the body content. So we have many data. That means we don't know whether the API contains in thousands or hundreds or in numbers as it is. So I just used a map function to map all the details, and I just implemented the map function here, and I just simply exported the home component, and then we just created an add contact components. In these components, at first we imported all the required libraries and styles, and we just created an add contact component. In that, initially we are just setting the state would be an empty, and if not empty, we uh, we are setting those values as to be empty, and we created the holding the entire state object, and we just integrating the Redux using dispatch function and React router to navigate, and we just created an handle submit. When the user clicks on that button, it has to do what are the things, these things. First it checks the details might not be empty. If it is empty, it shows this piece of line. If not empty, then it continues the code, and it just simply creates an contact for you. It if there is email is already exists, it prints this line, and it checks all the things from Toastify. So that is the reason I installed Toastify, and I just return all the things, whether it is in a form, generally it's in a form, while adding the contact. So in that contact, I have created a name as an input, and input for email and input for a number, and I simply created one button to submit to add the contacts, and another component, edit contact dot component. That means .js, it's a component. So first we imported all the things, and we just created the edit contact function. I mean, it's a component, functional based component, so that's the reason I call like that. And we just initially set all the email details in empty, and we just access the URL parameters by using these use params. And I mean, whatever the data we want to edit, so that thing will goes to here, and we just hold the entire state, and we dispatch the method and navigate the method, and the current state would be like this, and it and we created an handle submit. In that handle submit, if it checks first, and if there is any user requirement error, it prints all the errors. If it is empty, it shows this piece of line, please fill the details. And if the email is already exists, please change the email. It shows like this. It checks the mail and checks the number and checks the details whether you are entered or not. And if everything is perfect, it goes to further and update the contact, and it navigates here. And yeah, this is the contact, uh, edit contact. And yeah, and we simply exported all the edit contacts. And in Redux, folder, we just created a contacted user.js. Generally, we created an initial state, and if we created one function in that, we have given the state values, state parameters as initial state and action as parameters. And in that, we created some cases: fetch contact, add contact, update contact, and delete contact, and some default state and some default case. And in that default, we just simply return the state, and we just simply exported all the contact reducers, and we just use it in our app.js. And this component is used further. So let's see the output, how it would be. So I'm going to open my terminal, and I'm just creating and giving the correct path, and I'm just giving the command and start to start my application. Yeah, it's starting. It takes some time, a few seconds, just a few seconds. It's just starting. Yeah, yeah, it's opened. It's still loading. Just give 1 minute. It's still loading. Okay, here it is. Initially, it doesn't fetches all the details. For us, it's just showing the contact list app, and when I click the home button, it's just right now it just fetches all the details. So here is the details from that API. So I just want to add my contact here. Here my name is Sarak, and my email is here it is gmail.com, and the phone number would be 123 I'm just giving a random number. I'm just adding. Here it is. Right now it's just added, and I just want to edit first. I just want to give my number 276 and update contact. Right now we just updated the number, and I just want to delete. So here it is, the deletion. Deletion has been, it's just notifying all these things. And yeah, we can also add the contact. We can also edit. If not, we can go to the home directly, and if not, we can delete. And yeah, thank you.